thank you so much for joining me for this How Should It Feel video. Why do we need the How Should It Feel videos? Isn't it enough just to watch the exercise videos and just get on with it? Sometimes it is, but I want you to get the most out of your exercises. I want you to be able to challenge yourself as much as possible without overdoing it and without causing any injury. And if you're exercising at home by yourself, then it becomes even more important to really understand what you're doing, how it should feel, what it shouldn't feel like, when you can push yourself a little bit more, when you need to ease off and take a rest, because there's no instructor there watching you and guiding you as you do it. So that's what I hope these videos will do to help you to become more knowledgeable and more confident and get more out of your exercises. So in this video, we're going to talk about how it should feel when you do strength exercises. So what do I mean by strength exercises? Anything that involves lifting, pushing, pulling in everyday life. There may be some activities you do in the garden, even some activities you do in the house that count as muscle strengthening. From the point of view of sort of structured exercise, of the things we do in the videos in the studio, we're talking body weight exercises, which might be lunges, squats, perhaps wall press-ups, or things that we do with dumbbells, or with exercise bands, or with any other kind of added weight or resistance. These exercises are sometimes also called weight training, sometimes called resistance training, but hopefully that gives you a really clear picture of what we're talking about. When we talk about muscle strengthening exercises, you will sometimes hear me talk about sets and about repetitions or reps. And you may have seen this also if you've had any kind of exercise prescription or program from another source. So say we are doing a set of bicep curls where we curl the dumbbell up towards our shoulder and let it down slowly. So each time you curl it up and then release it down is one repetition or rep. And then you maybe do that exercise 10 to 12 times, and then you stop and take a break. And those 10 to 12 repetitions together are called a set. And in an exercise session, you might do 2, maybe 3 sets of an exercise. And each one you might do somewhere between 8 to 15 repetitions, depending on the exercise and depending on your goal and the instructor's goal with the exercise program. When you're performing strength exercises, you should feel your muscles working, and you should generally feel it more in the muscle itself rather than in the joint. So for example, if we're looking at an arm exercise, we want to feel it somewhere in the muscle here, maybe more than in the joint in the shoulder or in the joint in the elbow. You want to feel it in the muscle. Ditto in your legs. You want to feel it in the middle of your thigh, not so much right in the hip joint or in the knee joint. Of course, there are lots of muscles around the joints, and you may well feel them working as well, especially around the hip. But we definitely want the muscles to be doing the work. Now, as your muscles start to work a bit harder, you may feel a sort of burning sensation in the muscle. That's fine. It might even get quite strong. That's okay. What we need to do with the strength training is we need to get the muscle to a point where it gets fatigued, it gets overloaded. Because when we overload it during the exercise session, then after the exercise session, we go away, we eat some good food, hopefully a bit of protein, we get some sleep, and over the next 24 to 48 hours, the muscle has to repair itself from that period of fatigue, from that period of overloading. And when it repairs itself, it actually gets stronger. So if we're not getting to that point of fatigue, we're not really going to see a response from the muscle because it could cope with the load we put on it. So it's okay. It doesn't need to do anything different for next time. So for that reason, when we do strengthening exercises, we want the last few reps to feel quite hard. They should feel different. So it shouldn't feel the same when you do the first rep and the 12th rep. It should get progressively harder all the way through. And you should be looking to stop when you don't think you can do any more with good technique. And this is crucial. It's not about just doing as many as you can, regardless of how you're arching your back or waving things around in funny directions. It's about doing the right amount with really good technique, because when our technique is excellent, our posture is good, that is when we get the most benefit from the exercise. So if you're doing strength exercises and they're not feeling hard enough by the end, then let me know. Let me know what exercise you're doing and how it feels. And I can work with you to help to progress that and add just the right amount of challenge to help you get to that point where your muscles are fatiguing at the end of the exercise. Now, some strength training exercises might get your heart rate up a bit. You might start to feel a little bit out of breath, which is fine as long as it's not too much. So I definitely recommend that you watch, if you haven't already, the How Should It Feel When You Do Cardiovascular Exercise video. And it's linked below this one. So just scroll down and click on that. And use what you learn in there to understand in terms of when your heart rate's up, when you start to feel out of breath, what's okay, what it should feel like, and when maybe you need to take a break. But if you get too out of breath to hold on a conversation, you might have to pause between a few words and stuff like that. That's okay. But if you're too out of breath to talk at all, then take a break. But when you're taking a break between strength training, try and keep things moving a little bit. So you want to maybe keep your feet moving, pump your heels, walk on the spot. Even if you're sat in the chair, marching in the chair, just keep things moving a little bit to keep that blood flowing. It's what we call active recovery. Doing some kind of mobility exercise or some kind of very gentle leg movements in between the exercises is really, really helpful. So I've said this many, many times, but I have to repeat it again. The exercises are not meant to actually hurt. However, if you haven't been exercising regularly, recently, or even in a really long time, it can take a while to understand the sensations and the feeling of your muscle burning because you're working hard, but that's okay, versus something actually hurting and not feeling quite right. So that's where we always want to build up gradually, add weight gradually, progress the challenge gradually, and you will start to learn how it feels when you're challenging yourself and it's okay, and start to notice when it's different and it's actually pain and you need to stop. Now, sometimes when you're doing strength training exercises, things might feel a little uncomfortable. You might be like, oh, my shoulder doesn't feel quite right. Not sure if I'm doing this right. If you're not sure, then check. Pause the video, rewind, go through the instructions again. Perhaps seat yourself where there's a mirror you could look at just to check your posture or your technique. And quite often you'll find there's lots of technique pointers when I'm instructing an exercise. So it may be that you didn't hear me say about keeping the elbows in or about tucking your chin in or this or that. So when you go back and you go through them again and go through all those instructions and technique points and posture points, often you'll find actually it's okay. You can do the exercise without that discomfort. There might just be a little bit of discomfort as you get warmed up, get moving when you start doing the exercises. That's why we need as long a warm up as we can. Lots of mobility, maybe some pulse raising before, so don't launch yourself straight into things. But if it feels uncomfortable, turn into a little bit of a detective. Maybe try and understand why, and ask me if you're not sure. However, if you feel acute, sharp or stabbing pains in your joints, stop. Either stop and then try again and see if you get it again. And if you do, and if it continues, then definitely get it checked out by a doctor or other health professional. There's something else. So when you do strength training exercise and you fatigue that muscle and you really overload it, you can sometimes feel sore and achy for a couple of days afterwards. And sometimes actually the soreness is worst about 48 hours afterwards. So this won't happen every time. If you don't get this, it doesn't mean that you didn't do a good workout. You might just get it occasionally, and it's okay. What it is, it's your muscles recovering and repairing from the exercise session. It's called DOMS. That stands for delayed onset muscle soreness. Now, I wouldn't expect you to be getting DOMS after every workout, certainly not severe soreness. So if you're really super sore 48 to 72 hours after every workout that you do, then we might need to take the intensity down a little bit somewhere. But if you just get that occasionally, or you just get a bit of soreness 48 hours afterwards, that's fine. There's nothing wrong. Your muscles are recovering and rebuilding and getting stronger and ready for that next challenge. So that is fine. The best thing to do when you have this muscle soreness is just to keep moving, just gentle, go for a walk, do some move more easily exercises, do a little bit of pulse raising, just keep the blood flowing, keep everything moving, and that will help to speed up the recovery in the muscle. So in summary, for strength training, the muscle should feel like it's working. There shouldn't be any pain, and you should be feeling fatigued and like you can't do many more repetitions with good posture and technique. And that is crucial. Fewer repetitions, but with excellent posture and technique, will get you much, much more benefit, and also massively reduce your risk of injury, which is really important. Couple of things to add at the end, but really important. First of all, if a doctor or other health professional has advised you on any specific exercises you should do, shouldn't do, on anything around your exercise program, that takes precedence over anything I say in any of these videos. Another good way is to just notice how you feel after you exercise. And you should always feel better afterwards than you did before. When you've done some muscle strengthening activities, you should feel like you've done some work. Your muscles should feel worked. They should feel a bit tired. You might feel a kind of mixture of energized and tired at the same time, but you should feel something. If you feel no different at the end of an exercise session, then those exercises probably haven't had enough of an impact on your physical state, and we need to up the intensity a little bit next time. Don't feel bad. It's better to start lower, gentler, and build up gradually. But if you finish the exercise session and you just want to crash, you are absolutely shattered, perhaps you lie down and you sleep for the rest of the day, or you feel so sore you can't walk the next day, then that's a sign that you were a little bit overzealous, pushed it a little bit too far, and we just need to bring that intensity down. And ask me, I can help you from either perspective, and to help you to get it right for you. So I really hope this video has helped you to feel more confident in safely, effectively challenging yourself when you're doing strength training exercises, whilst minimizing your risk of injury or causing any damage or anything else. I'd love to know how you get on with this, any questions, what was new, what was surprising, anything else I can help you with. Click on the orange button below, hop into the members forum and let me know. I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks so much for joining me, and take care.